my children were here. So my children, Jacob and Emil, were here at the same time. His daughter was
Excuse me, how old?
8 years old and 10 years old were my sons. And
Which age?
oh, this was 1981 summertime.
Okay. My daughter is then 7.
Yeah. So they were there and they played together, and it was so sweet because I remember also there were 2 children from Holland, and the Dutch people only spoke the Dutch, and your daughter mostly spoke German, I think, and my children only spoke English, and there was one Indian little boy. And they all played together so beautifully, even though they couldn't speak the same language, you know, so it was very special. But anyway, so I was going to just talk about their relation with Babaji, what I saw. And my older son, after, not very long, I mean, we're there for the whole summer, a couple of months at least. But after a short time, he was going down in the afternoon with the yogis. A few yogis would go down at bath time with Babaji. And he was giving Babaji his bath. So he would go up to the river and help bathe Babaji. And I didn't understand how he got this great privilege to do that, you know. And I thought, oh my gosh. But I never asked him particularly. But he just went every afternoon. And I remember Babaji would, people would give him these beautiful silk kurtas, the long shirts, and the beautiful silk lungis. And Baba would often change it at lunch, at this evening bath, and put on another set. And this particular day, he had been wearing this very bright, vibrant blue one. And he wrapped my son in it. So my son, he folded the lungi in half so he could wear it, you know, like a little lungi. And the kurta went all the way down almost to his feet. And
Now I remember.
and then they came up from the river bottom. They came up the 108 steps, and he had his arm around Jacob, just like this, you know. And my little son's face was just so ecstatic. And then we would be all waiting in the garden in a line like this, and he'd come up, and then we would sit with him in the garden for a little while, and we would do some chanting. And so my son came next to me, and he's in Baba's glowing silk, and his face is glowing, and he looks at me and he says, "Mom, if you knew what it was like to rub the lotus back of Babaji." I'm thinking, this is my 10-year-old son. And when I met Babaji, I wanted them to meet him, but I didn't want to indoctrinate them. I didn't want to tell them, this is what you'll experience or anything. I wanted them to have their own experience. So I didn't ever say anything like this. But for him to say that, I was just like, oh. And then my younger son, you know, also some processing. Baba was always, my 2 sons always got together along very well together. Only time I ever saw them jealous of one another was in Haidakhan. And my younger son said, "Why does Jacob always get to be with Babaji and go for his bath, and I don't? He doesn't pay any attention to me." And I said, "I don't know, you know. I don't know."
It's Emil said that?
Emil, the little one, said this. You know why? I said, "I don't know." And so I saw for the first time some jealousy, you know. I said, I didn't know. But anyways, but then one day after Baba's bath, he would walk down the line and we'd all be standing up as he processed up to the garden and would sit, then we'd sit. But as he came to my younger son, Emil, the 8-year-old, he all of a sudden stopped and he looked at him and he took him by the cheek and he went like this. Just playfully, you know, because Baba was always playing, particularly with the children, you know, just took the cheek like this. And I don't know what transpired in that moment, but Emil's eyes all went, you know, very bright and shining, and he looked at me and he said to me, he said, "Mom, I was just touched by God." I just thought, my 8-year-old son, you know. And, you know, I think, you know, for you, you said it was very difficult when you saw it being rough, you know, on Anu to help her learn about strength and everything. It's everything so much more strong with the parent to see the child, you know. For me, it was such a gift to have these things. I mean, also, one time Emil had the harder time in Haidakhan. He went into a sleeping bag and got stung by a scorpion one time, and you know, had this problem. And then another time he got very sick, and in those days there weren't the bathrooms up, so he just took his sleeping bag to the bottom of the stairs and stayed in that because he had to run. Then in those days you went away from the river with your lota if you needed to use the bathroom, and so the poor child kept going, you know. So he had more of a rough time. So once again, this idea that he was training him for something in the future. But I can only say that the love Babaji showed my children was something so special to me. The greatest gift he could give me was his love for my children.
It's interesting. I'm not speaking for that now.
Oh, should we turn off? Okay,
Yeah.
just